Hello everybody, how are y'all? So it is August the 28th, 2019. We are 1 month away from a couple of things. The first being it'll be on September 28th, Robbie Stanley's 27th birthday. Yay!
Getting old.
Before that, September 7th, Rhett's 16th birthday.
I'm
Yay.
also getting old.
Also getting old. But also 1 month from today, on September 28th, will be the JDRF One Walk in Nashville at the Bicentennial Capitol Mall. And we again will be participating as Team Kiss My Pancreas. This is our 11th walk as a team. Most of you know we started off with Team Rhett when Rhett was diagnosed in 2003. Our first walk was in, no, you were born in 2003. 2008. Our first walk was in 2009. And then later we changed to Super Stanley Brothers in 2011 after you were diagnosed while you were in college.
Mm-hmm.
And then we eventually stuck with the name Team Kiss My Pancreas. Can you show up your shirt a little bit? Lean in. There you go. There you go.
That's somewhat good.
Yeah, so Team Kiss My Pancreas is what we've stuck with. And as of last year's walk, we had raised cumulatively, easier said than done, over $102,000 our team has. And so this year our goal is $11,000 since this is the 11-year anniversary. So we are at somewhere around 7,000 right now. So we're about 4,000 away from our goal. And we would love your help. So we just thought we'd talk a little bit today about diabetes and what life is like with type 1 diabetes. Real quick, if you're new to our story, thanks for paying attention to us. But type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease where their body decided to attack itself and attack the cells that in the pancreas that makes insulin. Insulin is a hormone that is necessary to live. It breaks down food where it can be digested and turned into energy. Otherwise, it gets burned up and then it starts burning fat because the body can't open up the cells to absorb the energy out of the food. And eventually, if you don't have insulin in your system, you could die of starvation. Matter of fact, that used to be less than 100 years ago. It was a death sentence. We've only had insulin since 1921, I believe. And so insulin is just a way to stay alive. It is not a cure. But in the 11 years that we have been living with this disease, it's already come a long way. Would either of you like to talk about some of the things that has changed since either you or you were diagnosed?
I'll go first. Well, I know for me, since I've been diagnosed, the insulin pumps have changed. So it used to be the pump, and you attach a cord to yourself, and you'd have to run around and get caught on a hedge or something, and all of a sudden it rips out of your stomach, which is not fun. They still have those, but they have something called an Omnipod now, which Brett is currently wearing on his arm, which obviously, by the look of it, is much better. It's not, there's no cords, it attaches to you, you got to change it out every 3 days, and it's just a much easier way to deliver insulin to your body and make sure you're regulating yourself. And the other thing is the continuous glucose monitor, which has been relatively new since I've gotten the disease, that you can keep up with what your numbers are better. So if you're going high or going low, I know there have been a couple times with me and him where we've been going low pretty quickly, and without that thing, we could have been in serious trouble.
Yes.
So those two things specifically have been great in terms of improving our health.
Got anything to add to that? No? No? Okay. Speaking of the continuous glucose monitor, let's see if I have no idea if it will, if this is even worth, yeah, it's not a good number, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. So there he is, he's 261. If I flip it this way, it'll show you what he's been for the last 6 hours. There's a little line. And today, Rhett went to his endocrinologist, that's his diabetes doctor that we go to every 3 months. And you got anything, tell us a little bit about what Dr. Simmons said today about you and your health.
Well, she said I should set a reminder because sometimes I tend to forget to bolus before and look at my numbers before I eat. And she told me to set a reminder look at my blood sugar and bolus before I eat. And then if I happen to get a dessert, bolus for the dessert. So
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, bolus is the verb for dosing yourself with insulin. It's a kind of a different language that we speak. So let's talk about that for a second. Before you had your CGM, that you could just look at your numbers on your phone, how did you used to know what your numbers were?
I used to prick 4, 5 times a day
Your finger.
my finger, and yeah, it's just been. I don't have to do that anymore. I could just check it in the morning and in the nighttime. At lunch, at dinner, I just check my phone, see what my numbers are on my phone, and bolus. So
Which is a lot less painful.
yes, a lot less painful. Yes.
Doesn't wear your fingers out as much.
Right.
No,
I know you probably can't see, but put that one closer to the camera. That one, I don't know if you can see it, but that one's pretty messed up. That's the worst one now. They used to all look that bad. Used to have all little scar tissue and things from where he pricked his finger so much, but now that he doesn't have to do that nearly as often because of the handy dandy continuous glucose monitor, it just makes that a whole lot easier. And we can know at any time what his blood sugar is, as opposed to it would just be every few hours that we used to check. But even so, it was a pain. And he said 5 or 6 times a day. It was really more, especially when he was 4, when he was diagnosed. We probably checked you 8, 10 times a day. And so we're grateful for those advancements. So real quick about JDRF. JDRF stands for Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. It was started in 1970 by parents like me who would like to make a difference and try to find a cure for my voice. And it's basically all just research. That's what they really focus on, is research. They do some advocacy to try to get some of the bigger organizations like the NIH, which throw in more money. Some of the things that's going on with JDRF right now, they focus in 3 areas. Obviously the cure, and we're looking for a biological cure. And that's a little bit easier said than done. We're talking about an autoimmune disorder. And autoimmune, for anybody who's ever had any kind of autoimmune, you just know how complicated autoimmune is. When your body attacks itself, it's very hard to find out the reasons why, and it's hard to find out how to make it stop. There's many types of studies out there that have shown they can put in new beta cells, which make insulin, but the problem always comes back that the autoimmune system attacks those cells again and kills those off when the diabetes comes back. So in the meantime, one of the other big focuses is treatments. And one of the big things out there that the 3 of us are very excited about is called encapsulation. And what that looks like, it'd be kind of the size of maybe a tea bag or a Band-Aid. It actually has the concept more of a tea bag, where there's little tiny holes in it. So it would be large enough for the glucose to be able to come in. There would be cells inside that little pouch, and then it would release insulin and it would go out the little holes. But it's kind of like a shark tank. It would protect those cells from the autoimmune attack. And that is in some human clinical trials right now. This all started with the funding of JDRF, and other corporations and pharmaceutical companies and things like that have put their money in, which is a good thing. More money, more research. And those have shown to be somewhat promising. One of the biggest things that we're learning is that it takes a minute to figure out how to get a certain device that the body will accept and not reject. But that's a huge thing of research that's going on. So for those of you who have given money in the past, you have already helped get that research to where it is right now. And the reason we continue to ask you for money year after year after year is because research takes a long time. And once it gets to a certain point, it takes a long time for FDA to approve it. And it takes a lot of money. It's a lot of money. There's Abby. Say hi. So we just wanted to give you a little update on that. Also, in treatments, they're working on faster insulin. Right now, insulin takes a while, doesn't it? When you guys eat, the food works a whole lot quicker than the insulin does, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that's why we usually try to do the insulin before we eat, but sometimes it's hard because you don't know exactly how much you're going to eat. Because if I give myself, 6 units of insulin, and then all of a sudden halfway through what I thought I was going to eat, I'm full.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got to eat anyway, because if I don't, I'll be in trouble. I'll go low.
Exactly. And then they're working on better pumps. They're called not necessarily artificial pancreases. That's what they were originally called. Now we call them closed loop systems, and it's where the continuous glucose monitor will speak to the insulin pump. And so it can automatically give insulin without them having to do anything. We're a long ways away for that to happen where they eat, and it does that for them. They still have to put in their numbers, their carbohydrates. They have to count carbohydrates when they eat. And let me just go and tell you, carbohydrates is in everything. I mean, ketchup has a lot of carbohydrates in it. There's carbohydrates in almost everything. And so you have to do a whole lot of math when you have diabetes. Lots of different kind of calculations. And then another big area is prevention. So Robbie here is getting married to this little one's mama in November. And so we assume that Robbie and Heather will one day have a family. And so their chances of their child having type 1 diabetes are a bit higher than just your everyday person because Robbie has type 1 diabetes. It's not a lot higher, but enough to have enough concern. So another big part of JDRF is prevention. And one thing that JDRF started that has made big news this year is they have found a way to test people who are directly related to people with type 1 diabetes, blood related. Siblings, first cousins, parents, offspring, that kind of thing. And if you are one of the ones who shows one of the markers or the antibodies that comes with type 1 diabetes, they have some medication now that can prolong the onset of type 1 diabetes for about 2 years. So that's a big deal. And we feel like that research has come a long way and will continue to go a long way. And so the goal is, and I think this one is very obtainable, one of the ways that we might get rid of type 1 diabetes quickly is to be able to prevent it. And to just stop other people from getting it. And that would be pretty exciting. Don't you think that would be exciting?
Yes.
So who else do we not want to get type 1 diabetes?
My kids,
Your kids, and who else?
my wife.
Yeah, well, your wife probably wouldn't, but your brother, right?
Brother.
Ryan.
Ryan.
So they have a middle brother who's taller than both of them, Ryan, and Ryan is 24. And even though Ryan is 24, he's not out of the woods. Type 1 diabetes used to be considered juvenile diabetes. They quit calling it that because they started realizing a few years ago that a lot of adults are diagnosed with type 1 diabetes now, and it used to be misdiagnosed as type 2. I have a dear friend of mine who was diagnosed at 24 years old, and so we have to keep our eye out on Ryan too, because we would not like to have all three of our kids have it. So prevention is a big deal for us. Brett, talk a little bit about this summer, and particularly say at the beach. Tell me some things that got on your nerves a little bit about lows or insulin pumps falling off or whatever.
Well, at the beach, I had to sit out because my blood sugar would go low or something, and I had to sit for a little bit, like one thingy with like the 75 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to drink a juice and eat some crackers before I could go back in. And one time my sensor fell off one night at the beach this summer. So
So it can be a pain sometimes, right? And so even though we're excited about the changes and the advancements, we sure would like a cure, wouldn't we?
Right.
Robbie, why don't you talk to us a little bit about what it's like to be self-employed and health insurance for a 26, almost 27-year-old?
It sucks. The health insurance is not great. Diabetes is an expensive disease. You have to get insulin, you have to get your testing supplies, you have to get your pumps to secure an easier way of delivering the insulin, you have to get your continuous glucose monitor to make sure you're not going to die in the middle of the night. There are many costs that come with type 1 diabetes, and the current health insurance market, not great.
Sorry.
Also not great is amateur hour of our cell phone
Yeah, sorry.
being on during our video. That's okay, we'll let that one pass.
Yeah.
Anyway, health insurance is not great in terms of being self-employed. Now, being married will help that.
Yes. Yes.
Because she has great insurance. But it's been a pain to be able to get the best coverage and the best supplies in order for me to attack diabetes the best way I can.
So has that made you, in some instances, change the way that you treat yourself?
Yeah, right now. I don't have an insulin pump on right now and haven't for the last 2 months because I'm just not in a position where I could do it. So I'm back to stabbing myself 6 times a day with a needle. Let me tell you, when you get used to not stabbing yourself with a needle, going back to stabbing yourself with a needle is not fun at all.
No, it's not. And that's another thing that JDRF does is it works in advocacy and hopes to help with insurance coverage. There's also some situations that we haven't run into it yet, but where insurances have kind of chosen the type of insulin pump you're allowed to have. And JDRF would like to make sure that patients have that decision. This is a chronic, lifelong disease until we find a cure. And we think that the choices should be those who are living with the disease. They should be able to choose which insulin pump and which continuous glucose monitors are right for them with the help of their doctor. And so JDRF has a hand in that as well. And then I guess the final thing we'll talk about today, since we're running a little long, is one of the new advancements this year. There's a thing called glucagon, and glucagon has sometimes been referred to as the emergency shot. It comes in a big red case about that long. It has a needle about that long. And what its purpose is if they were to have a severe low blood sugar, one that put them either into a seizure or they went unconscious due to a severe low, or heading that way really, really quick, knowing that they wouldn't be able to keep down any kind of sugar if they started to juice or jelly or anything like that. It's why we kind of call it the emergency shot. It comes with 2 little vials. One has powder in it, and one has liquid in it. You have to take the syringe and inject the liquid into the powder, shake it up real good, then take it out, draw it up, and then the unconscious or seizing person, they have to roll them over on their side, stab them in the leg, and give them that big long shot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of work, especially in an emergency situation.
People freaking out.
And people are scared of it. Honestly, Rhett probably more so than Robbie, I think, has affected it in some ways his childhood. Rhett wasn't invited a lot to spend the night at people's houses because people are scared of this disease because it's a serious disease. And
Understandably.
yeah, absolutely. And lows happen a lot at night, and it's important to know how to use that glucagon because it's life-saving. Fortunately, we have never had to use it, but I've pulled it out a couple of times and been ready. I have friends who have had to use it, and it's a scary time, but it's very important. So recently, through research that started a long time ago with JDRF, and then other companies kind of took over the process, there has been a nasal form of that. So that's really exciting. The FDA just approved that, and what that means is it's a whole lot less scary. Grandmas can do it, spouses can do it without you having to worry about her stabbing you. Especially, I was talking to the endocrinologist today. Kids going off to college, their roommates would be able to do this with a whole lot less issues. So all that would be, they don't even have to inhale it. They can be unconscious. All you would have to do is put it up their nose and squirt it, and it works the same. And what it does is it opens parts of the liver to release stored up sugar. We all store up sugar. They do too, but we naturally release it when we go too low. Those who do not have type 1 diabetes, theirs does not. And so what that would do was release that and allow that sugar to help bring them back up. So we're grateful for that, and that all came through research dollars. And we want to thank you. We want to thank you for the last 11 years. With the $7,000 that we're at right now, we're around $109,000 raised. Just our team alone, not to mention what everybody else is doing here in Nashville and all throughout America and internationally. JDRF is an international organization. And so, and Middle Tennessee, you should be proud of Middle Tennessee. We rock it. We work really hard in Middle Tennessee. We have a great staff there of some wonderful ladies. They are the small staff but mighty, and they get a lot of work done and raise a lot of money every year to go towards diabetes research. And another thing I think is important that you should know is that it's a great charity as far as where your money's going. Over 80 cents, it's really closer to like 85 cents, but I'll keep it on the safe side. over 80 cents of every dollar that you give goes directly towards research. They keep their overhead down. They do not waste your money. They want a cure. Almost everyone in our office has type 1 diabetes. They want to work themselves out of a job. And so we want you to help that. I think it'd be good on their resume too. If they could cure type 1 diabetes, somebody else is going to hire them. So I'm not worried about their job security. They're not either. So we would love your help again. First of all, we'd love for you to come join us. Where can they come see us at the walk?
At Centennial Mall in Nashville.
Bicentennial. Yeah, Bicentennial Mall. What day is it going to be?
September 28th.
September 28th on a Saturday. I think it starts around 8 o'clock in the morning. The walk itself starts at 10.
There's food.
Lots of food. What else is there?
Bounce houses, dunk booth.
Bunch of dogs.
Bunch of dogs.
Yeah, bring your dog. They can howl. It's a good time.
It is a good time.
It's a nice leisurely walk. If you like to run, you can run. But if you're more of a stroll kind of person like I am, it's a good easy walk. It's fun. There will be food and fun. It's free to go, so we'd love for you to join us. We'd also love for you to donate, or we'd love for you to jump in and join our team and help us raise money. What we kind of like to do is ask some of our friends to ask 10 people for $10. And all of a sudden you've got $100, just like that. And it really makes a difference. Every dollar really does make a difference. So join us Saturday, September 28th at Bicentennial Mall for the JDRF One Walk. Also, Scott and I will be doing our first ever 5K at a Run Disney event in Disney World in January. And so if you would like to donate to that, just let me know. You can email me or text me or Facebook me, and I'll let you know how you can do that. After I post this, I'll post a link in our page for our JDRF One Walk fundraising page, and I'll post the team link. And so you can pick Rhett if you want to pick. He'll be 16 and on September 7th, so if you want to give $16 for his birthday, he sure would appreciate it. You can pick Robbie. Robbie will be 27 soon, so if you'd like to give a little more and give $27, or we'll take $100 or $300 or whatever you want to give. We'll take $1. Every amount makes a difference. You can give to Scott because he's kind of pitiful, doesn't have a whole lot right now. You can give to Ryan because Ryan likes to help his brothers out. You can give to me. You can give to anybody on our team. We sure would appreciate it. Is there anything else I'm missing?
I don't think so. 22 minutes deep now.
I know. It's a lot. If you stuck with us this long, we certainly appreciate it. Thanks from Team Kiss My Pancreas. We'll see you soon.